I wasn't praying for money. I wasn't praying for status. I was praying more for direction and protection. And that, praise God, that led me to where I'm at right now.
Direction and protection.
Direction and protection.
Not money,
No.
not opportunities,
No.
not doors opening.
Because when the direction, if you're in the right direction, God will open every door no man can shut. Because you're already walking in the direction and those doors are gonna open.
Yeah.
And when those doors open, it's your option to walk through it or wait for another door to open.
Have you ever found yourself in a position where God opened the door and you didn't feel you was ready to walk through it?
Believe it or not, no.
You're listening to the
New York Said Podcast.
Fear not, my friends. This will be my greatest performance.
Give it to me.
Here we go. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Let's just take a quick walk. Can we walk for a second?
Yeah.
You're in Nordstrom. Today is March 20th,
March 20th.
2024.
2024.
When'd you start?
The concept started January 2011.
2011.
2011.
So how many years ago was that? Like 13 years ago? 14 years ago?
13 years ago.
Okay.
However, I was working. You know, you don't give it your 100% when you're working.
Where were you working?
I was working at Global. At that time, it was called LFUSA, Lee and Fung. I was doing retail development. I was there for 10 years. But then, so the concept came up in 2011. It took 2 years to find out who I wanted to work with as far as manufacturing and
But you knew you
production.
wanted to
Hats.
make hats, chapeaux.
When I saw the Coco Chanel documentary, Coco Before Chanel,
Yes.
that's when I knew I wanted to make.
And that's when you
Hats.
is that like you were asleep and you woke up and it was on kind of thing?
It was on and popping.
Okay.
I'm like, I got this. Because I was going to,
No,
I went to Ecuador.
No, I'm saying you were asleep and then you woke up and the movie was on.
Oh, no.
Oh, how did that happen?
I went to Ecuador, and then when I was in Ecuador, I just felt something was there for me. I don't know what it was. I don't know. I just didn't know. I didn't know what. And I came back home. I would spend New Year's there, 2011. I came back home. You know, you get a little funky the first month, couple weeks or whatever. You're just like, okay.
Yeah.
When my clients were popping because I was doing styling, I was working at Lee and Fung, so my corporate job was good, and I was still being artistic with styling.
Right.
Then I'm laying at my mom's house, and the documentary crosses on Netflix, and I put it on, and I'm like, as the movie's going, I'm just like, I had no idea that she went through that. Homelessness, abandoned at 13. You can tell she just went through it. And you know, when I first started, I wasn't abandoned, but I was homeless and I was hungry. So in the movie, she lives with this guy, this gentleman on the countryside. He was like, listen, I'm gonna be entertaining, don't come out your room, because you know, at that time they're wearing like bustiers and feather in their hair and big dresses, and Coco was very masculine, wide pants, loose tops, you know. And she finds herself she crossed paths with this woman, and the woman had feathers in her hair, this feather hat, and Coco took her hat off, put it on the woman, and the woman was like, I want you to make hats for me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna start making hats.
Right there, like you knew then.
Right there, I'm like, I'm gonna make hats. I'm gonna make hats. I'm going back to Ecuador. I'm gonna make hats.
Had you done anything? Had you even thought about hats? Because like years, I don't know how many years before that, but you and I were working on like creating content or photography for the denim line.
Exactly. And so and the crazy thing is, the vision was there, but
it was on a back burner because you were living somebody else's dream.
Exactly. Okay. But I didn't even know what the dream was until 3 months later when I saw this documentary.
Isn't that crazy how God plants the seed?
Listen, it's all the Lord. It is all God.
Easy. Because I remember like out of the blue, you know, shout out to Netic.
Yes.
God bless Netic.
God bless.
Out of the blue, you just had these hats because everything was about the denim line.
It's about the denim. I was like,
and then I was like, okay, we're gonna do the hat thing, which was new, you know. To me, it was a new idea coming from you.
And then, now that we're speaking,
Yeah.
you want to talk about full circle moment. The gentleman that gave me all that denim and asked me to use this denim and run with it.
Yeah.
One of the first documents he ever gave me was an entire list of Nordstrom buyers.
For real?
Yes.
But I don't want to go too far. I don't want to go,
Okay.
because that's, again, a decade ago.
Yes.
So you're in Nordstrom now.
I'm in Nordstrom now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
But we're going to celebrate that in a second, but I just want to get to how we got to that.
Okay.
I just want to go from just a city kid who trying to figure out what their purpose is, what they're trying to do, all these things, and literally has their love, the thing that they've worked on tirelessly for years upon years upon years in Nordstrom.
Yes. I tell everyone there's 4 things you need. And if you don't have these 4 things, I feel you will not be successful.
Yeah, what is it?
4 things in order.
Uh-huh.
You have to have faith.
Gotta have
If you don't have faith, it ain't gonna happen.
Just quit.
You gotta be consistent, persistent,
Yeah.
and patient.
So let's not just throw out 4 words and leave it there.
Yeah, okay.
Let's talk about faith.
Faith protected me, woke me up in health every day to let me continue what I'm doing because I'm a single person. I've been single, my whole journey has been alone. I travel alone. I'm a one-man show. I
Yeah.
am my.
So you pack the boxes, you design the hats, you do
I clean
the
my
administrations.
office.
Yeah.
I'm the janitor
Yeah.
of my studio.
Yeah.
I'm the delivery man.
Yeah.
I do it all.
You're the point person.
Yes. And I'm beyond grateful because it just opened my brand even bigger just to see people can see who I am as well too because I don't do fast fashion. I'm not doing something where 25 people can buy the same piece. It's an intimate transaction what I do as well too. So it's not something that it's boom, 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 and then that's it.
Yeah.
So, just being faithful every day, even as a kid. Just
Was there ever doubt where you were was there times where you wasn't moving hats and people and you was like, I think I might have to get a job. I think I might have to do,
So with that being said, we're in this is the 8th year I've been on my own.
full time.
Full time.
Doing nothing but making a living straight up.
Yes, making a living off of just my brand.
Yeah.
And
But there's more than hats. You got bags, you got
I have
dirt,
bags.
you have leathers.
I have so I have small leather goods. I have bags. We opened our market to straw hats. So we do wool chapeaux, straw chapeaux. We go into caskets now. Caskets are caps now. So we're doing different designs. It's just a range now. And now we're doing leather goods. We're doing, I came up with, so many people were just like, how can I carry my hat?
Yeah.
How can I carry my chapeau? And I'm like, you know what? Let me make something. And I actually made a chapeau tote. It's just doing those things too, and just expanding the brand. And I did all that within,
8 years.
Actually, all that came over the pandemic because, the pandemic, it was either sink or swim.
Yeah.
What you gonna do?
Yeah.
What else are you
else
gonna
can you do?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what else could I do was come out with small leather goods and target different markets. For instance, when I do events in New Jersey, more people or more women are more receptive to buy small crossbody, middle crossbody bags because they're more.
They do more driving than walking.
Exactly. They have very much off corporate jobs. It's not really we live in the fashion capital of the world, New York City.
Yes,
So
sir.
everybody, everyone's was like, oh, I want a hat. I need a hat.
Everybody
I need a
has
hat.
now.
Yeah. Because there's people that never wore a hat. Next thing you know, they're on number 5.
Yes.
Because now they can't leave the house without it.
Right.
Which is great. Which is awesome.
So you have people that own more than 5 hats?
Yeah.
How many, who has the most? I love New York, by the way, with all this damn beeping.
Yes.
He ain't even going nowhere.
I think you met him, Nehemiah.
Okay, how many has he has?
I want to say Nehemiah probably has anywhere from 12 to 15.
So when you
All custom. Well, you know what? I'm lying because he buys 5 at a time.
So when FIT has your retrospective in their museum, we're gonna reach out to him to get some of those early works.
Pretty much. Well, can I tell you, you know, in 2022, we did the Chapeaux for the We Don't Talk About Bruno performance during the Oscars.
Yes.
And there's a Oscar museum in California, and they kept
They got one of your hats is in the museum.
two
Of them.
the ones that came out in the show. They wind up keeping them for the museum. I've never seen them
How does
again.
that make you feel? That your work is in the museum.
You know what?
That your vision, your work is in the museum right now.
It's to me, it's the same across the. It's just like me doing an event during Latin Billboard Week, or me doing an event in Soho.
It's not an event though. Like your hat is in a museum.
That yeah.
Like
I'll say it like this. It's
for the length of that museum, it will have a space there.
Which is insane. I know. I don't put it into that.
I know
perspective.
You're trying to make it to be, because I understand events.
Yeah.
Events are dope, but they come and they go.
I would say like this, which is amazing. I'm beyond grateful. I just wasn't prepared for something like that because my vision was on, I want to be in Vogue. I wanted to be in Vogue.
Yeah.
And then when I got in Vogue, mind you, 9 years ago, my brand was technically 15 months old. No marketing, no product.
So even if it was like a boom, you wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, I didn't even do an event. I was sold at a small boutique in Brooklyn called Installation NYC in Brooklyn, the size of a closet.
Yeah.
And I was still moving my product there, which was amazing. I'm sold in New York City.
Right.
Everyone comes to New York to have that dream, to build their dream. Things that feel that I've made it matter. Everything matters. But when I had a plan and the vision and those goals came out, everything else was just extra icing on the cake. You know? And I'm beyond grateful for the way everything has transpired. When the goal is just bigger, it's just unexplainable how to feel, because you did this goal and then something times 10 in other people's eyes may trump it.
Right.
But for me, it was very like, no, my goal trumped this. Even though I understand.
I see what you're saying.
I understand how you feel. Like, the Oscar, the Oscar's huge. And I understand. But when the goal is complete and the goal is as working in fashion since 2001, Vogue is everything.
Yeah.
To see your name, to read your name alongside Balmain.
Yeah.
Alongside Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
Who
wore your hat?
Lewis Hamilton.
Who wears the hat?
Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
And the headline reads, "Watch out for you have competition." It's just kind of
surreal.
It's very surreal. Yes. So to see it, like that goal, everything else it's exactly. I feel it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
However, but when you have a goal in your mind and it's accomplished, it's just everything just comes all together. You just appreciate everything exactly the same.
What part let's walk some more.
Okay.
What part does manifestation play, and affirmations and things that like the magic of faith and belief? Let's walk into Central Park for a second.
Okay. Because Lincoln Center kind of quiet, a little quiet.
Let's go over
too.
there. I haven't been to Lincoln Center in a minute.
So I've been praying as a child. And when I say
you prayed as a child?
I've been praying as a child, just praying for protection, just praying for my health, just praying for guidance, just praying that I get home safe. No matter everything.
I'm giving thanks. Make it home safe.
I give thanks every single morning. Every single morning I give thanks. So prayer it has always been instilled with me. And the crazy thing is, my dad had us jumping. We were Mormon, we were Catholic. We were just jumping around religion.
Yeah.
But my faith. But I always had faith. Regardless
of the iteration or milieu of.
Yes, I've always had faith, and as I got older, in my 20s, my faith is my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, God.
Okay.
That is my faith.
Yes.
And I just pray and pray. Like, I just pray and pray. And, 20 years ago, I'm in Saks Fifth Avenue. And same prayers, same, again, I'm not a saint either.
Right.
But you still have to pray. You pray. I wasn't praying for money. I wasn't praying for status. I was praying more for direction and protection. And that, praise God, that led me to where I'm at right now.
Direction and protection.
Direction and protection.
Not money,
No.
not opportunities,
No.
not doors opening.
Because when the direction, if you're in the right direction, God will open every door no man can shut. Because you're already walking in the direction, and those doors are going to open.
Yeah.
And when those doors open, it's your option to walk through it or wait for another door to open.
Have you ever found yourself in a position where God opened the door and you didn't feel you was ready to walk through it?
Believe it or not, no.
You've walked through every door.
I walked through every door. I never walked through a door and was like, I'm not ready.
Okay.
Never. And that's what has me where I'm at this point, at this very moment, at this very second in my life, is that I had the option to walk through certain doors, to be like, oh, let's do this, or again, I'm very hungry. I am not thirsty. So I will, and that's where my patience comes into. I'm patient. I'm not gonna jump on the first thing. I'm not gonna jump in for the first opportunity, because I love when people tell me no.
Yeah.
When someone tells me no, I'm like this. I smile, I walk away. We can have a good old time. It's all good. It's an option for someone to say no. My option is keep it moving until I get that yes.
Yeah.
Other people's option is when someone tells them no, that's the end all be all, and now I gotta move on to something else.
Right.
I don't believe in that. I don't do those things.
Yeah.
I have never done those things. Those things are not life for me.
Right.
So I choose my options. And what brought me here to right now, because again, and God will provide. Where I'm at right now, someone would need an investor.
Yeah.
And I have done it on my own. Right at this moment. I have still done it to my own. And I believe, and it's funny enough, because I was talking to someone, they were just like, it's okay to pray for money. It's okay to pray for money. They put it in a specific way.
Yeah, but you read through it.
Yeah, and I read through it, but I understood what she said, but it's just a little egotistical for me, like, God, make me rich today, make me,
Right.
no, there's people dying.
Right.
Like there's like wars all over the world. Who am I to be like, God, make me rich, give me money? No, that's not, you don't do those things. However,
Direction and protection
got me that, and I tell everyone, and I never ever was like, oh, I'm gonna be a millionaire. And those thoughts were. However, the steps God has put me in right now, I am comfortable with saying, I will be a millionaire. Someone is going.
It's happening.
I'm going to get an investor.
Yeah.
Someone's going to be like, "Oh my goodness, Renee,
Right.
where have you been at?
Yeah.
We want to give you this.
Yeah.
We want you to. We're going to launch in Dover Street Market in London. We're going to go to Galeries Lafayette in Paris. We're going to go to Selfridges back in London.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I feel like the direction is now.
and you'll be protected throughout.
And I'll be protected throughout. And the thing with me is, if I get all those blessings, I have to bless other people as well too. And having everything handmade in Ecuador, giving jobs to people in Ecuador, security to people in Ecuador. Hope, my goal is to, when I get funding, when I get investment, to up the living wage for the people that are working for me and with me. Because I always say, we work, if it's not for them, it's not just me, it's them as well too. We're a
takes
team.
a village, yeah.
We're a team, and I let them know. And unfortunately, the mentality is not, the working mentality is very like, boss and worker over there.
Right.
So I come in and I give them the caring, the loving place you will want to come into work at. Let's just say today's Wednesday. Let's say my flight is Friday and I have to make like 4 hats because I got a emergency client that's like, oh, you know, when you treat someone good, my associates, because I call them my associates because we're all associates.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my goodness, Margot's, I had a client for, I'll go to her home tonight and we'll work all night and make those 4 pieces happen.
Yeah.
Because she respects me
Yes.
and I respect her.
Yeah.
And I have love and compassion for her, what she does for me as well too. And everyone I've worked with has been with me since the beginning. Okay. And that's how I know, praise God, I'm doing right. And I don't like to throw the word boss around,
Right.
but I am the boss of my brand.
There you go.
So I know I'm a great boss when it comes down to it.
So talk about the second word. We got faith. What's the second word?
Persistent.
Talk about persistence.
Persistent. You know, we live in New York. If you're not persistent, you're gonna get ran over. You gotta keep pushing and reinvent certain things. For instance, if I come out with 4 designs and they're not moving well, the reception's not good, I'm not gonna just stop. And the good thing, what I've learned as well too, and the direction fashion's going into, sustainability. I'm gonna take those pieces, I'm going to do them over with the same fabric.
Okay.
And
So repurpose, use the same material, take the hat and just repurpose into a better cello.
exactly,
Okay,
a better design.
Or more, whatever they're looking for, since they wasn't looking for the original
Exactly.
design. But not get new material to make new hats.
Exactly, because
Okay, gotcha.
I'm not gonna throw, like, you know, it's a fashion conscious world we're living in now,
Yeah.
and a lot of luxury, like, you know, think about the vintage dresses
Yeah.
that sell. When they were first made, they're like, let's say $4,000, $5,000, and next thing you know, they're selling $42,000, $45,000 the same dress, but they changed the lining on them. They
Right.
they
Updated some of the material.
exactly.
Okay.
They make it brand new and fresh again.
Yeah.
And that's the
Same silhouette.
Exactly. So, but it's just the persistent of not giving up, no matter what.
Have you ever wanted to give up on this
No.
journey? Not one time.
No.
Everybody you talk to when you read their
No.
book, they're like, oh, at this point, so there was never a point. You
It was
just
never
like,
an option for me. No. No.
Shit.
This is my and I'll tell you like this, and I believe you were there. You were there actually when we were at Installation New York City
in Brooklyn.
in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It was a Sunday evening. I will never forget. And this is the first little pop-up. This is the first pop-up we did.
Yeah.
This is my first pieces, and it's around 6:30 in the evening Sunday. This gentleman comes in dressed to the T, just fly, all John Barbados looking fly, a Jamaican man and his wife and their small son. Oh my goodness, which is insane because his son might have been like 2 or 3 at the time, and he's probably
12.
no, 14, 15 now. Wow. And he had a heavy accent, and he purchased a piece. He purchased a Ballard Chapeaux. And as we're there, he's asking for a Sharpie. But I was like, I didn't know what a Sharpie, what he meant by Sharpie. And he was like, can you sign the inside of my hat so when I give it to my son, he'll know how much it's going to be worth later on.
But
There is not a price someone can put on a comment or the love that man gave me at that moment. And that just stays in my mind over and over and over. Like, I know, and this is at the very, 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 very beginning.
yeah.
Like the beginning. He was like my little angel. He was just like this. Listen, don't you dare give up. Even I had a client a couple weeks ago, last month, and she met with me. She was like, listen, can you sign the inside of my hat? And I'm like, oh my God, like, okay.
Yeah.
With a pen.
Right.
And I'm like, sweetie, you just paid $360 for this, and it's like a light, and I signed it with a blue pen, and she was like, thank you so much. I'm like, oh my God, like, just those.
And you're not even thinking like that. You're not like, hey, you want me to sign your hat? I'm here.
No, but I'm just like, can you press it before you give it to me? Like,
Yeah.
Can you put gloves on when you give it to me? Not
Right.
throw ink all over it now,
Right.
you know? So those are just small blessings that no one can put a dollar sign on.
You
them.
know, it's crazy
I'm sorry.
because like I went to a museum once in Seattle. It was called, at the time it was called Experience Music Project, and they had this big exhibition about Jimi Hendrix. And in this like little glass case, they had his drawings from kindergarten. And I remember being so moved. Like, imagine impacting the world so much for whatever it is that you do, that your kindergarten drawings are like, Jimi Hendrix made this. Not the music that he made, but like, you're getting to that point where people are like, I knew him when.
Can I tell you, and you saying that, can I tell you, the other day, I'm cleaning out my, I have hat boxes, but I keep as storage, like my journals, because I've been keeping journals since like 02, 03,
Same.
04. So and 04 was one of the hardest years of my life.
Why is that?
I was lost.
What does that mean?
I was lost, meaning I was homeless. I didn't have a job. I did not know what I wanted to do. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know the outlet, what I wanted to go in. It was just when
How old were you?
I was 28.
And you had hit a wall.
I hit a brick. No.
Are you hit with a brick?
Actually, I fell from the top floor and hit.
It hit the ground.
I broke the ground.
Okay.
I went through the ground.
Yeah.
That's how hard it was.
Well, you must be Superman because you still standing.
Oh, listen, the Lord knows. Listen, so so how the Lord works though. So, and it's crazy because when I look at my journal, even though because I was just drinking every day, going out every day, just like wilding out, and I look at my journal, I didn't realize how much I was praying, writing down, God, please protect me, please help me, Lord. Just asking for, just writing for help.
Right.
You know? And I look back now and I'm like, in October of that year, actually September of that year, I go to a job interview and I'm just like, oh my goodness, like what's gonna happen? What am I gonna do? It starts raining. However, I might have been homeless, but I had a Burberry coat on. I had some Dolce & Gabbana tuxedo pants. So I was fresh.
Homeless and looking great.
Yes, with pennies in my pocket.
Yeah.
Nowhere to live, pennies in my pocket, looking like $1 million, with no job and no home. It starts pouring. And I'm standing in front of Saks Fifth Avenue, and I'm looking at the street, and I turn to the window to look at the window display, and I'm like, God, what am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna do? From 3 o'clock p.m. to 4 o'clock p.m., you know what God did? It hit me like lightning. One of my good friends was the operation manager for French Connection.
Yeah.
I used to work with him at Banana Republic. I hit him. Hey, Rich, how you doing? He's like, hey, how you doing? I was like, not so good. I'm looking for a job. He's like, you looking for a job? Just come in for the application, start next week. I got a job. I got a job.
God.
50th,
Look
I'm
at God.
on 50th and 5th Avenue.
Yes.
In college, I was working at 34th between 5th and 6th at Banana Republic. I walked from 50th and 5th to 34th between 5th and 6th. I go in the Banana Republic, and the lady that, she was like the manager, she was like the housekeeping of Banana Republic. Beautiful lady. Her name was Laura. She's like, hey, Renee, how you doing? Everything's good. I just got a job. I'm just looking for somewhere to live. She was like, I have a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom uptown. It's just me and my husband. Come look at it, the place. If you like it, then just stay with us. Whatever.
Look at God again.
I had a job and a home within 45 minutes. And I'm still there at that home 20 years later.
So you live between there and Ecuador?
I'm from 164th Street in Broadway to
Ecuador.
Yes. Yes.
So what's the third word?
So we got faith,
persistence,
consistency.
Consistency. Now, what does that look like?
Consistency looks like exactly how you see me now. I never gave up since you met me.
Nope. Your attitude hasn't changed. Like you're still the same person. Like when we walked up on each other, the first thing we did was just start laughing.
That's it. That's consistency.
Yeah.
That's consistent where I'm consistent as a person. I'm consistent as my brand, my marketing, my ethical treatment, just everything. It just all coincides together.
I want to ask you something. Talk about never giving up and the people that give up on you along the way.
It's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, they're not really meant to be in your life either. As hard as they may have went for you to prosper, they may have done that because they were happy and they were prospering in their life. And when their life takes an unexpected turn due to the choices they chose, they expect you to conform and not move the way you're moving now that you're prospering. It has happened to me with people I have never thought that it would happen. But it's okay.
But how do you process that pain? Because doesn't it still hurt regardless? Or you just suppress it?
I'm going to tell you, I don't pass that. I'm more disappointed. I don't get angry. I don't get upset. I don't get sad. I'll feel disappointment because those other actions, I love you, but if you're not sad, why am I?
Right.
If you're not angry, why am I?
Right.
I don't give life to the dead. And when I say dead energy.
And what about the folks that kind of bow out because you're doing so well? Not being happy for you, but just kind of feeling like every time you win, it's a strike against them and they lose.
Did you just hear what you just said? People like that don't have space in my life. And as a little kid, I've always had a very good judge's character. And that's why when someone decides to depart from my space,
yeah,
it's okay. Because maybe I might have tolerated you long enough, then you may have tolerated me. So I'm not upset. Maybe you can't stop talking about it because you actually know who you are, because I know who I am.
Just me personally, because I've taken the time out to find out who I am, and one may ask, like, how do you find out who you are?
Yeah.
You take risks, you travel, you do things that are very hard, you fail, you experiment, you are consistent, you keep going, you keep fighting for the thing that you know you're trying to get to, you finish what you start, you treat people right. Like, in all those situations, I know where I stand on so many different stances, so to speak, because I went out there and I tried myself, I threw myself at the line to see if I would win.
Yeah.
And then when someone come in and tell me who they think I am, I'm like, and what?
You don't have space to. First of all, nobody asked you.
Yeah.
How about that?
How about that?
Nobody asked.
This is a song that Nat put me on to. It's just like, drink water and mind your business.
Yeah.
And so it's like sometimes minding your business is really like,
you know what mine is?
What's that?
Be like, oh, what you doing? Mind my business, loving Jesus.
Wow.
Y'all do you, I'll do me.
Yeah.
And you have to know your worth. I know my worth. And it's okay if other people don't see it. I'm not here to justify.
I'm not here to convince, validate any of those things.
Yeah, at all.
Because if I did, I wouldn't leave the house.
Yeah.
When did we meet?
We met in 2010.
2010.
We met right before everything transpired.
So we've known each other, let's just say 14 years now.
I want to say 15 because it couldn't have been that summer of 2010.
So 15 years I've known you. What do you think has been the reason why we've never switched up, changed up, bowed out, or any of those things?
Good question.
And on top of that, all the various projects that we've worked on, from like with Netic and Jason and the website and all the things we just
it's almost like, and I say like this because
collaborating.
For me, and I'll be forever grateful sitting with you and Raven at 53rd and Lexington at the open space when this was like I wanted to do a website.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do hats yet. I
Yeah.
wanted to just do a styling website.
Yeah.
And we just spoke about what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I think having that, you've always been beyond supportive, you know, since day one. Like, it's just, our relationship has just been so consistent.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost, it's just like a brother love. Like,
Yeah.
it's just been consistent. Like, if we grew up together, if we just, because we
did grow up
We
together.
grew up together.
We grew up.
Our adult life, we grew up together.
Yeah.
You know?
We've gone through so many chapters. We've
Yeah.
had collective losses.
Yes, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot, and you know, I'm grateful for that, and I think that's why, like, our relationship there was I'm beyond ecstatic for what you do. Like, we're not those people we just spoke about.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
And again, to each his own. I am not downplaying no one.
And there's no specific person we're
at
talking
all.
about. We're
No.
just saying that these things occur.
The characteristics
Yes.
of certain people. Then yes.
Because, I mean, like, shit, man, if you're in a pursuit of anything that you're passionate about, that's why my favorite book is The Alchemist. You're going to meet all kinds of people.
Yes, and you know what? And it's a double-edged sword for working in fashion,
And creative.
working creative,
Yeah.
entertainment,
Yep.
production. It's just, it is a very
There's characters.
yeah, because you see, like, I was watching Drink Champs with Alicia Keys on it.
Yeah.
She's been in the game 20 years. What's the first thing she said out her mouth when she was just like, I had to let some mother effing people go because they were not good for me. They've been there since
Yeah.
the beginning, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And I'm like,
People change.
who are you around that you let in your space longer than their expiration date?
Because that shit stinks.
Yeah, because I'm like, and you knew, but you still kept on holding on. But I'm not the person to let someone drain me to fill you up. We're not doing those games.
No.
You know, at all. However, I will big you up because I don't have a malicious intent to what your situation or what your vision or what your path is.
Right.
So it's just characteristics for different people at the end of the day.
Because we're all evolving.
Yes.
All of us. We're all evolving. Like, whatever the circle of friends that we have, we're all evolving. And so you're 20 years in,
Yeah.
and how you're evolving, and you haven't plateaued or stopped. Like, I'm only literally talking to you as you're passing through to whatever the next thing God has planned for you,
Yeah.
and what you're willing to put the work in and the doors you're willing to walk through.
Yeah.
And I've been, you know, sometimes we record stuff and I don't even put it out because I'm just not interested in putting it out. It didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen, and it was just meant for the archive. It wasn't meant for the public.
Yeah.
And I just do it because it needs to be preserved. So I'll come in and check in and just, it's not even about New York set or anything. It's just
Yeah.
about, like, let's just get how you're feeling and put it in the archive, and you'll have it when you need it.
Yeah.
So to be able to see how we're all stepping into what we planned, prayed for, manifested, put in the work, all these things, and never gave up, and who's still around and what's still around, and the fact that, like, I saw you today. I didn't say what's up. We met each other with laughter.
Yeah.
And I was holding microphones in my hand, like, I just looked guilty.
Well, my infamous, well.
All right, yeah. So, you know, but the thing is, we're also human. So even with people that we collectively know, when you fall out and then you fall back in, because I'm at the age now, like, some people, I love you so much, we had a misunderstanding. I would rather we figured it out and get the harmony back than for me to be, like, not knowing you anymore or anything.
And listen,
Yeah.
one thing about me, I am grateful for all those relationships. I still pray by name for individuals that are not consistently in my life how it used to be.
Yeah.
All the time. I'll be in church, I'll be walking, God protect so-and-so.
Yep.
God, I hope this person's doing well. I hope their family's doing well. There's 3 things that you just stop messing with somebody.
Okay, like what?
If they steal from you,
Yes.
if they sleep with your husband, wife, your mom, or or a very close family member that's married.
Okay, yes. That's pretty specific, but okay.
Oh yes, yeah, it has to. Yes.
Shout out to whoever that's for.
No.
I'm just joking. I'm joking.
And if you just don't know how to keep your mouth shut,
Yeah.
as far as spreading lies,
Yes.
gossip,
Yes.
just stirring the pot, just
For
that.
no apparent reason.
That is where it's like, boy, girl, bye.
Right.
Like, like, I wish you well, but I do not, like, our relationship is over.
We've hit the wall.
Yes.
So let's talk about the fourth thing. So
Consistent, faith, consistent, persistent, and patience.
do you think we covered persistence pretty?
I think we persistent. I think we did because, at the end of the day, persistence is the options we have. If you have to be persistent with accepting the lack of or the abundance of options you have. Because if you don't have any, you got to start making some options.
Yeah.
If this is your dream,
Yeah.
if this is your walk.
Yeah. That's happening right now.
Yeah.
Like even right now, like I today's the 20th. My goal last year was to launch my new website, which I hadn't had a website in over 5 years, approximately, give or take a year. I was like, first day of spring, I'm launching my new website. And I did not know what I was up against until I started. I was like, yo, I have done a lot in 5 years.
Yeah.
And my life has changed, and my mentality has changed, and my perspective of what a website even looks like has changed. The technology has changed, the platform, everything has changed. And I got to relearn this and have it in 3 months to put all this stuff into one box. And so to your point of persistence, is just like, people will be like, hey, you coming out? I'm like, nah, I got work to do. I made a deadline for myself. If I make all these deadlines for all these clients and companies or whoever, I'm gonna break my own deadline? No. Yeah. So it launched thankfully, it was well received and everything went well, and I'm still, even as we speak, like when I get back to the house, I got tweaks and things that I wanna make to it. But I had to be persistent every single day, like working on that thing, even if I was tired. Like I was drinking Red Bull, and the guy was like, one of my good friends, he's my brother. He's like, you drinking Red Bull? Like he said that shit like I was doing heroin. He was like, you use it again?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at your face in judgment right now, but I'm just like, yo, coffee ain't doing it.
Every time I hear energy drink, I'm like this, what?
I don't make a habit of it, and I sound like an addict as I say this, but I'm just saying, I was at that point where I was just like, the deadline is the deadline, and I need to make this shit happen. Yeah. And now that it's happening, there's no more Red Bull. So it's just like, back to like this casually doing these little quick updates, but I knew I needed to make a newsletter. I knew I needed to do all these things, but I had to keep fighting and being persistent. And that's just one small slice of this pie of what it is that we do to make a living.
Yes. And these four things are daily.
They're not just, I'm mentioning it now, like no, it's a daily operation.
It's daily operation, yes. Daily.
So let's go with the fourth one.
Patience. Listen.
As the siren goes off.
Listen, it's an emergency now. I'm popping.
Right.
I'm popping. Ring the alarms.
It's like you did that on cue. Ring the alarm. And they just heard us from across the street. So patience.
Patience. Everything leads to patience. Perfect example. You're 5 years haven't done. You've been patient, and now it's time to launch what you need to do.
Yeah.
For me, it was like, okay, I'm doing. I've been 8 years on my own. Mm-hmm. It was more intimate. It was very intimate what I was doing. And when I say intimate, doing small trunk shows, pop-up shops, clients,
everything,
just everything, and
fashion shows. And
yes, and like. 3 years ago, I just opened my studio in Ecuador. Yeah. It's my 3-year anniversary.
Isn't that crazy that when I saw that you were opening your studio, it was not surprising that you had made it to that level, but it was just like, yo, he deadass has his own studio in Ecuador with his name on the wall. And it's a real thing, and it's still thriving 3 years later. It wasn't like it's not a pop-up. It's a consistent thing. It's to be maintained.
It's a fashion house. Like how it's like a Dior, a
Yeah.
Versace. It's
Yeah.
a fashion house in
Yeah.
Ecuador. You know, I house all my fabrics there.
It's the house of René Mantilla?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you call it
is-
that?
No. Only.
Can I call it that?
Only the balls will call. Only unless you're gonna have a huge following.
Okay.
Because you know it's like it's.
So when you all of a sudden become world renowned to the world, then you'll be the house of René Mantilla?
Well, it's funny because for every time I hear the house of,
Okay.
it's just more of, like the gay houses. You know, like
Yeah.
the house of Saint Laurent or
Yes.
the house of
Like the Paris is burning.
Yes, the house of extravaganza.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. Yes.
Tens across the border.
Now, if some amazing individual wants to start the house of René Mantilla,
Yeah.
I will be more than happy
Wait,
to
you've been
oblige.
saying Mantilla, and I'm saying Mantilla?
Mantilla.
Mantilla, that's what I
Mantilla,
said.
yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
Mantilla,
okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
I would never say Mantilla, no.
No, I didn't say that. I keep saying Mantilla.
Mantilla, yeah. Well, you can say Mantilla, Mantilla. It
Yeah.
depends, yeah. It depends on it's actually both the same.
You know,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
and then say like pecan and pecan, which one do you say?
I say pecan.
You say pecan? Do you
Yeah.
judge people for saying pecan?
I'm just like
In
it's
the
just-
South, they do.
I know they do. It sounds real Southern.
But they say
why I don't-
pecan.
Because we're from New York.
Right.
It's pecan.
No, I say pecan.
I don't say pecan.
Maybe because you from Jersey.
It's just that "and" sounds so strong. Pecan.
Pecan.
Yeah, no. Pecan.
I've been corrected in this stuff. I'm like,
Pecan-
yeah, can I get a sense of that pecan? Probably like pecan.
Pecan,
I'm like,
yes.
no, pecan.
It just sounds so like pecan.
Pecan.
Like it's just so hard. Like why? It's just
Like,
pecan.
calm down?
It's pecan pie.
Okay.
Like you see how it just changes pecan. No,
But it's sugary, nutty pie.
it's pecan.
Okay, it's pecan. Let's get back to patience because people are
Okay, so patience. So I say let's say to where we're at right now. We're in Nordstrom today, March 20th, on the selling floor.
Yes.
6 styles, 26 units. When I got the okay when I got the blessing, when I got the partnership, when my dream came true, because I am living my dream right now. My dream has come true. When some dreams come true, first and foremost. And to see my product in Nordstrom on 57th Street, I don't even have the words yet. It hasn't hit me yet. And when I say this, it's when I got the partnership, or when I had the outlet to be there on a pop-up event for 11 days. I don't even have the words of how grateful I was just to have that.
No, it's beautiful. I remember I was there for the first day, and that's when you introduced those straw hats.
Yes.
And those things were moving like hotcakes.
Yes. So I did my sales report in October. I got the okay in November. I was patiently waiting 3 months because in the retail world, the movement for November, December is all about holiday.
Yeah.
January is getting everything that was left over from fall, winter, holiday, and inventory out the store. So those are like months that there's not a lot of office talk. Pushing forward to February 2023, it was one of the most challenging things I've ever done in my life as far as the retail work, corporate work that goes into putting a product in a retail establishment. I'm creative.
Right.
People go to school, multiple people go to school for 4 years for what I've accomplished, praise God, this last 10 months, as far as develop compliances, developing UPC barcodes, GS1 catalogs, packaging, routing, shipping, logistics.
Things that never came to mind when you was designing Chapeaux.
Not a thought. And
But here you are.
and the gratification of how grateful I am to have done it alone I really don't have the. I honestly, I just want to. Sometimes I want to shout it. I did this by myself because.
What about those people who say, "Did you though?" What do you say to those people?
I only answer to one person.
Don't look at me like I'm the one who said
I'm
it.
just saying.
I'm just asking you the hard question.
I just answer to one person.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm not here to prove myself to nobody.
You know the truth.
I know the truth. You don't see. There's not an essay I'm writing. I'm not justifying what I've done.
Right.
Let my work speak for itself.
Yeah.
You know.
And you have all the receipts.
Yes, and that's the great thing about social media. People know I'm not a computer person. I had to buy a second laptop. I'm on one laptop with Nordstrom, and I'm on my creative laptop, this other one. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm on a phone call, 237 minutes.
Wow.
People don't need to. I'm not keeping a virtual diary for people to see or to justify myself for anybody.
As the real McCoy.
Exactly.
You just are who you are.
I am who I am. It
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm like, okay. It's okay. And it's crazy because I reached out to 2 people and they were like, oh, let's meet. And I'm like, you know what? Let me see if I can do this first.
Right.
And I did it. Everything that I have done, everything that has transpired has been, as far as with the relationship with Nordstrom, has been only with myself. And of course, you know, I can't do it without Tracy and Justin over at the Soho UPS. Yeah. I can't do it
But
without...
how did the connection to Nordstrom happen?
Perfect. And I love telling this story. Tamara, you know Tamara.
Yes.
Tamara is one of the most supportive, beautiful beings on this earth.
Absolutely.
Top client, supports she's just amazing. She works for Trish McAvoy. Trish McAvoy has, she's luxury cosmetic skincare line. Sold at Saks, Blue Mercury, Nordstrom, sold everywhere. She is the consultant for one of the VPs of Nordstrom, which just so happens that her daughter is the public relations person at the New York City Nordstrom. They were looking for something for Hispanic Heritage Month. Mm-hmm. They reached out to me to do something over the summer, but I wanted something more. They asked me when would I like to do it.
Okay.
And I asked them, I want something that means something, that when people from Ecuador look at my social media, or people from Camden, New Jersey look at my social media, I'm representing the Latinos as well too.
Yeah.
Whether it's Puerto Rico, whether it's Ecuador, whether it's the Latinos in Camden, Uptown. So I asked them if I can do it during Hispanic Heritage Month. I made 52 Chapeaux and I did 19 bags. And coming from retail development, I wanted to see what the demographic on the weekend was versus the weekday. Because the weekday traffic is not the same as the weekend traffic in the city.
Yep.
So I was like, I asked them, can I stay for 11 days? Because I wanted to see full weekends. What is the difference? So I went in on a Thursday, the 29th. I was there open to close. At the end of my departure on October 11th, I did a full sales report of my demographic, of the clienteling I did.
For them or for yourself?
For them.
Okay.
What time was my busiest period? When was my busiest day? How much I sold? How much? I gave them a full sales report. I gave it to the GM on Tuesday. The buying office sent me a message Thursday. The following week, I had a conversation with them, and 2 weeks later, they offered to partner with me.
Going to that, because that happened 2 weeks after that was sent in. Because I didn't get word that it was official.
Yeah. I didn't say anything to anyone.
What was? Yeah. Why did you keep it like inside before you started? Before it was official.
I like to cross my T's and dot my I's and lick the envelope closed.
Right.
Before I do any type of announcement. Anything.
I'm saying that because sometimes people start announcing shit way too early, and then they look like idiots.
Oh, no. Oh, let me tell you.
Okay.
Oh, let me tell you.
You've done that?
No.
Oh.
Well, I don't know.
No, tell me what you were going to say before.
I'm a very good judge of character.
Okay.
And this is where your persistence stays, your persistent works in here as well too. Because when you give news and it takes time, your audience is not really, when you tell your audience that it's gonna happen, they're in their mind it's gonna happen tomorrow,
Yep.
it's gonna happen Friday, Saturday. So when your audience has to wait, in their mind, it's not gonna happen.
Right.
So I always gave little inserts of the email, maybe an email headline. You know, at first we were just gonna be online. Glory to God, they wanted me in the store and online. I put that as a Instagram post,
Yep.
as a post on my LinkedIn, as a close, because now I'm dotting the I's now. Once all my compliances were done, I licked the envelope closed. Once the product was done, I mailed it off. What's up? However, your audience, when you tell your audience and they have to wait months,
It's a wrap. Everybody keeping up with that.
they're because they don't have the
bandwidth-
patience.
the patience, the bandwidth, and and you're competing with so many levels of distraction of streaming services and other platforms
Yes,
and
yes.
whoever else is in their
Yes.
timeline.
So I know, praise and glory to God, what the news today that we're physically in the store, and mind you,
God bless you.
we're in the advanced contemporary. We're like where all the $300 jeans are at,
Yes.
and we're actually upstairs with a $3,000 Missoni suit. We're on the other side we're literally all over the store, and I know some of the audience is like, oh my God, he really did do it.
Yeah.
But they didn't think it, even though they saw all the work,
Yeah.
I'm sure they thought it still might not happen.
Not me. I knew it was gonna happen.
But I can tell. But the reason I say this is because you can't be disappointed when the reaction
Right.
from your audience
Shows that they had doubts.
show that they had doubt, and
Yeah.
that's where everything I just said comes into play again. I'm not worried about how you felt because I got faith in God.
Right.
I'm not worried how you felt because I've always been consistent. I don't care how you felt because I've always been persistent. And at the end of the day, I've been patient, and that's where I'm at right now.
Should we even continue this conversation? Or should we just close it right there? I mean, that's
Period. As April will say. As April, my baby April.
Shout out to April.
As April will say, period.
damn. You brought it all the way. You put
I
a
told
pretty
you,
bow on
it all comes back. It all comes together.
So
It all
let me
comes
just ask
together.
you the last question that I ask always, which is, what have you learned from all this?
God is good. God has always been good. I can do anything. Honest to God. If I put my mind to it, I can accomplish anything. I have dreams of me flying over to like London and doing a trunk show like at Selfridges, or walking into an elevator at a department store and seeing my brand. Please come September 27th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. as Moet Hennessy launches the René Mantilla. Like, I just see all that. And, you know, thank God the support I've always had. Mick Storm, he's been sponsoring me, spirit sponsor, since I can remember, and just giving me putting me on 58th and 5th Avenue during Fashion Week for a pop-up shop, doing an amazing event at Columbus Circle by Woodford Whiskey. Just that support that, you know, the people that just believe in you, just consistently believes in you just over and over again. And they just been there. They just been there just when you need them. You know, it's not like me and you, like we sit and we'll have like in-depth talks. They're just people like,
I've never had a small talk with you.
no.
I have no desire to ever.
No.
You know, I will say when there's events, I've learned to just be like, "What's up, Renee?" and keep it moving. Like I'm going to be brief with you because I know you got 1,000 things.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
And I appreciate that.
I know I've been around. I'm like this.
Because it feels different.
He got one more time to walk by me.
It just feels
He
different.
got one more time to walk.
But the thing is, what I've learned as an adult, when I have my event, you feel it from me, and when you have your event, I feel it from. But I'm like, yo, Renee, do your thing. I'm gonna step back.
Exactly.
And we'll have our real talk when it's time, but not at the event because you got a lot of hands to shake.
Exactly.
You got a lot of things to do. I get it.
Yeah. No. That's.
I said that to you like I don't have events.
No, listen. I remember one vaguely.
You.
Yes,
At my
I do.
event?
You were busy. Booked busy.
Oh.
Busy. No, but at the end of the day, the proudness I feel to attend and see, that's
how I feel.
It's like the gratification and the happiness I feel when I go to the event. I'm just like, your work is hanging everywhere. It's a full house. It's like I see the movement. It's like.
But imagine how I feel as I'm walking down the steps in Nordstrom. I'm like, he's really in here.
Oh my gosh, shut up. Yeah.
He's really in here.
Crazy.
So,
Yeah.
But I'm just as happy. I'm like, let me go upstairs and get me a coffee because I'm going to sit here and drink this coffee and I'm going to meet all the people and meet all the strangers and see people see what I've seen for years. Strangers. I'm now watching strangers be like, oh my God.
Oh my
Can I
God.
buy this? Like, I'm like, see? Like perfect strangers who don't owe you nothing.
Yeah.
This is the first time they're encountering your genius and they're like, so I can buy this? And then like, I think on the 11th day, you had pretty much nothing. You pretty much sold everything.
Yeah. I remember I had I walked up. I walked in Nordstrom with a box of hat boxes, 25 hat boxes. And mind you, it's heavy.
Yeah, with the paper. I remember you
with the paper.
The
with
René
my bag.
Mantilla paper.
I brought everything. I brought my boxes. I brought my tissue paper. I brought my garment bags. I brought everything, and I drove up. Oh, with Jacob.
Yes.
Jacob held me down.
How's Jacob doing?
Jacob's doing good.
Okay, cool.
Jacob's doing good, and then to leave with just a Nordstrom bag over my shoulder, I'm like, oh my God.
You moved the product.
Yeah, I
you
moved
moved
the
the
product.
units.
And you know what was amazing? The support, the Nordstrom employees.
Everybody was mad cool.
The store manager bought 3 hats because she was like, we don't have things like this here. And I'm like, yeah.
They don't, but now they do.
They do.
But now they do.
I am the only fedora in the 57th Street Nordstrom men's shop.
I'm very, very, very happy for you, brother.
I'm the only casquette in the 57th Street Nordstrom men's shop.
That's fantastic.
They put it on today and an employee bought it before the store opened.
For
I was
real?
like, yes.
I'm saying for real, like I'm surprised. I'm just like.
I was, and someone, DM'd me
Yeah.
the photo, and I'm like, oh my, yeah.
So, let's get out of here, man. Let's get something to eat. Is there any last thing you want to say before we get out of here?
I'm just beyond grateful. This, it's always great just to let this all out, and just to, the first New York set we did.
Was in Columbus Circle.
It was in Columbus Circle, and the response I got from it, from the people that know me but didn't know the journey.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my, I wish, if I have to go back to my Facebook, and I have to go back to my Facebook because underneath in the comments, people were like, I had no idea, but we're so proud of what you've done. Now, years later, praise God, look where we're at.
Yeah.
I'm in Nordstrom.
And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Like the whole point of the project, whether it's New York Set or Mom Focus, the private interviews that I do now, the whole point is to create this audible portrait.
Yeah.
Like photos are cool,
Yeah.
video is cool, but your voice, your story.
Yeah.
So regardless, let's just say 80 years from now, no one can tell your story. They can't interpret it because the actual words are here. And so for us to just put it in the bottle and like just said it like this is what he said. There's nothing. He said what he said. There's no interpretation. So like your story is your story.
Exactly.
And that's all I've ever wanted to do is to celebrate you and be able to be like, look, I don't have to tell you how dope he is. He'll tell you himself.
Yeah, like there's no misinterpretation.
No, but it happens.
Yeah.
Because Instagram has you looking one way, TikTok has you looking one way, Facebook has you looking one, but your voice and what you said and how you said it and how you live it and all the receipts of everything else, it's all one big world. It's the universe of René.
Yeah.
So thank you,
brother.
And I didn't even intend to do this. Like I brought the microphone and I was like, I was playing with it, but I was like, I'm just gonna see if he wants to experiment and just record something.
And you know what's so crazy?
Yeah.
The way the words are just flowing out my mouth, though. I was like, I didn't stutter one time. I wasn't
no.
Let me think.
Because that's why I was like, let's walk and talk. If I sit down at a table with you, it might be something different.
Yeah.
But if we're in the city, we're hearing the sirens, it's all part of, we have a third party. Like the city itself is in on
it's a beautiful
in on the
ambiance.
conversation.
It's
we're at
ambience.
Lincoln Center, so.
Lincoln Center.
I love you, man.
I love you more.